I wanted to talk about this when it first happened, but I decided to wait for a while uh, because people were moaning and people were hurt and people were angry. So I decided to sort of hold off on speaking on it. All right, and that is the four people that was in Mexico and folks, some Mexicans opened fire on them, and some got killed and some got injured. There were four people. So now that things have sort of died down a little bit, I want to speak on it. All right. You got four people on the way to Mexico for whatever business they had. Okay. Uh, and the Mexicans opened fire on them. Okay. If there wasn't Mexican, there was somebody opened fire on them. When they got in Mexico. Now I don't know whether or not they had got lost. I don't know whether they was following some type of GPS direction, whether they were following Google or maybe they had a GPS or whatever. Maybe they was on the phone, but evidently they was in a neighborhood that they wasn't supposed to be in. Hmm? Now, when you go to a foreign country, I consider Mexico a foreign country. The rules there is a whole lot different from the rules here in the United States. People is different, right? There are communities in Mexico that the police don't even go in. Huh? They might send the ambulance and the police down there if something bad happened. Sometimes the ambulance don't even go down there. Whoever got hurt, they rush them, they take them to the hospital. Those are communities in Mexico where if they don't know you, you better not go down in there. Hmm? That's just the way it is. Now, if they were following a the GPS global position satellite signal, uh, they might have got mixed up. Hmm? Sometimes you lose the signal. Now, what you gonna do? If you don't have a map, you're lost. See, when you go to these foreign countries, people, make sure you have a map and a contact number where you can call and let those people know where you're at, which way you're coming. You don't wander around in a foreign country. The language is different, so the street signs is different. The street signs are not in English. The street signs are in their language. If you don't know how to read that sign, you might be lost. And here's 4 black people from South Carolina. You're riding 4 deep. And you're in a community hmm, where the police don't even hardly go. Something bad can happen to you. Hmm? You should have stopped at the state line and got specific direction on how to go where you're going. See, sometimes a mistake, the lack of knowledge, hmm, the lack of knowledge can hurt you. See? Oh, I don't know why I was sleeping. Okay, the lack of knowledge can hurt you. So they should have gotten a map. They should have had an address. They should have gotten a map. They should have called. Look, we're here. We're at the state line. Guide us in. We don't know our way around. This is Mexico. Huh? You end up in some communities in Mexico and folk will never see you again. And I'm going to close with this. I don't want to make nobody mad. Mexicans do not like black folk. Hmm? No. Mexicans do not like black folk. Hmm? They're jealous of you. They say we lazy people. Hmm? They don't like us. There are Mexicans that are dying to get to America. I'm willing to do a comparison with y'all that there are more Mexicans, all right, and Asian benders, immigrants benders. I believe there's more than blacks. So, first of all, Mexicans don't like black folk. Hmm? No, Mexicans don't like black folk. Hmm? And they see a chance they can kill you, they will, because you in their territory. They don't know you. They ain't used to see no black folk that down in there. They think you up to something. They don't like it to start with, so they don't shoot at you. They want you to get out from down in there. So my heart goes out to the victims in this matter, uh, to the family that have uh, the deceased one. You have my deepest condolence. Oh, but I tell everybody, when you go to these foreign countries, know something about that country first. Hmm? Get a map of that country and see how the landscape is laid out. They ain't got roads and stuff in Mexico like we got here in South Carolina. Hmm? They got alleys and valleys and, you know, elder so and so and all that stuff. Hmm? Some of they look streets curvy. Hmm? Sometimes you're down in the valley. Sometimes you're up on a hill. I mean, the landscape is so you could easily get lost, especially if you don't have a good sense of direction. Yeah. When I and I'm gonna close with this. When I first started driving trucks, I had a map of every state I went in. That's one thing I invested in. I had a milk crate full of maps of every state. Sometimes I had a lot of city maps because back then when I first started driving tractor and trailer, they didn't have the GPS. GPS wasn't out there, huh? Google Map wasn't out there. Ram McNally, the only Ram McNally you had back then was a map. That was your Ram McNally. Yeah. We didn't have cell phones, all right? We had pay phones. They went from a dime to 20 cents, and they went from 20 cents to 25 cents. It was easier for them to process a quarter than it was to dime. Hmm? But it would still take two dimes and a nickel if you didn't have a case quarter. So a lot of times we had to stop somewhere and use a phone booth. See, back then they had phone booth. And you pull over somewhere where you saw a phone booth there, you could get over and you call your dispatcher, 800 number. You call the broker. Hmm? You call the receiver. Or you got on the CB radio and ask another driver. That was your GPS. See, so when you're traveling, I tell people, when you travel, please, 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 okay, take your map with you. Going to another city, stop and get your city map. They got them. They got them at the stores. And they got them at the rest areas. Hmm? You're going into a foreign country, Hmm? Make sure you get a map of that country. And nowadays, there's no excuse. A lot of times not to know if you really want to know. You can pull up Mexico right there on that computer. Hmm. Hit that button and make your copy. Either you can stop at the state line, hmm, and buy you a map so you'll know where you're going. So you won't run up on nothing jacked up. My name is Bobby Kaya. All I do is represent the House of Common Sense. All right. You can leave your comments. You can subscribe to my channel. Tap the bell so you know when I'm putting out a new video. Thank you for listening.